Welcome to today's class. So today we are going to be learning how to save our projects on Scratch. A lot of students, after working on their projects, they don't know how to save their project. So in today's class, we're going to be learning the step-by-step way of how you can save your project in the Scratch. So the first thing is that we are going to learn how to create a folder. There's what we call a folder and there's also a file. So let's imagine having a notebook. So in the notebook, there are what we call the sheet of paper, right? And we have your notebook, that's the whole notebook, the cover page, and all the sheets of papers. So the whole notebook is like a folder, while each sheet is like the file. So when you are working with the folder is like what house the file. So now we want all our project to be in a particular folder so it doesn't go missing, so we don't have to start looking for, oh, where's my aquarium project, where is my animals in the jungle project, where is my game project, like looking for it everywhere. So we need to put all our projects in a particular folder. So now let's minimize this. Now to create a folder, on your mouse there is what we call the right click and there is left click. So whatever which side of your hands are your right hand and your left hand, that's how you know your right click and your left click. So we are going to use our right click. So when I use my right click, you can see refresh, you can see sort. We are going to new. So on new you can see folder. So you click on folder. Like I said, I want to create a new folder. Then you can put whichever name you want. You can put Muna Scratch Project, Titi Scratch Project, Tokwe Scratch Project, Albert Scratch Project, any name you want to name it as. For me, I'm going to use Lizzie Scratch Project, or you can just use Scratch Projects. You can name it anything you want. So I put Scratch Project. So I just added this my project. So we are good with this. Then we have a Scratch project. Because I have a file like this already, so I have to rename it. So that's one thing with renaming a folder. You have to use a unique name that you've not saved before. So let's just go with L Scratch Project. So I don't have to. So project, good. So that's saved. Then I go to my Scratch Pack. Then I create a simple project. So whatever project I create, I'm going to go over here, file. Right now I didn't create any project. We are just learning how to save our file, how to save our project. So I go over here, so you can see new, you can see load from your computer, then you can see save to your computer. So I click on save to my computer. Then after clicking on save to my computer, I have to look for where that particular folder is. So remember, this is my PC, my desktop, my documents, my download, my music, my video. These are all the different compartments I have on this system, on this laptop. So I have to go to my desktop. How do I know that it's on my desktop? Because where I saved it on was on my desktop. So that your computer interface, we call it like your desktop. So because I saved it directly on my desktop, I'll click on desktop. Now I have to look for my Scratch project. Remember, I saved it with L Scratch project, so I have to look for it. Can you see? So we have the Elrod Scratch project. So I click on it. I click on open. Then when it's open, you can see no item here. Then I have to resave it. So this is a cat. So I can resave it as, I have to click on it, delete this. I use my backspace. Then I can save it as probably learning how to save my project. Oh, let's say I'm working on an underwater project, I can save it as underwater. Anything you want to save it as, just make sure you click what save. Voila, we have our project saved. So every time you want to save your Scratch project, don't forget, first of all, the first step is what? Create your folder. After you've created your folder, work on any project you want to do at all. Probably is a motion project, is a movement, whatever project it is, work on any project, then go to file, save to your computer, Then if you are loading a new, probably a previous project, I'll click load from your computer. So when you click load from your computer, you go look for, because my it's not in document, it's in on my desktop. So I look for L project. I click on it. You can see my underwater, what I save it as. So I click this and I click open. Then it's going to bring, do I want to replace this content? I'll say okay. Then it still replace my content for me because we didn't work on anything. So that's how to save our project on Scratch. So see you in the next class. Make sure you do this, try it out yourself, and let me know in the comment section. See you all.